Hi everyone, today I made this video to show you what I think are some of the best personas to have at the beginning of the game. Before I start, let me say this. You can use pretty much every persona you want as you are playing the game and you will still have no problem. You don't need to actually look for some strong personas. For example, I just played by fusing whatever I didn't have to complete my collection and I didn't have many problems. Just make sure you have a good variety of elements and skills and you shouldn't have many issues. The personas I'm showing in this video are just those that I have personally noticed. There might be other strong ones, or I could be wrong about some of them. If you want to add something or maybe correct me, just leave a comment or send me a message. I won't go much into detail for common elements such as lightning, fire and ice. You can probably choose them by yourself. Oh, and before I start, if you want to know how to fuse a particular persona, there is a calculator that I will link in the description below. It's fairly easy to use and understand. You shouldn't have many issues with that. With that being said, let's begin. I don't want to spend too much time on debuffs, but for bosses I think you should have at least attack or maybe agility debuffs, just to make your life easier. It's not necessary, but yeah, it will make your life a lot easier against some bosses because they hit hard compared to common enemies. Bicorn is the first persona with attack debuff that you can get, and also gets the same skill for Carmen, but that is only at level 11, which is much further. Okay, if you want some strong skills at the beginning of the game, you need to get Obariyon. He looks very weak, but he has 3 skills that I recommend. He has Snap, which is a good gun attack. He has a speed debuff for the bosses, but the highlight is Lucky Punch. Lucky Punch doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it has a high chance of dealing critical attacks. Being able to deal critical attacks will help you a lot. You won't always be able to exploit weaknesses of enemies because maybe you don't have the right skills or maybe they don't have weaknesses, so Lucky Punch will be the only way you can bring the enemy down. It even works if the enemy resists physical attacks, but it will not work if the enemy repels or blocks physical attacks. Andras is very useful because of his passive. You can get him at level 10 and he learns Apt Pupil at level 13. If you combine this with Lucky Punch, you will get criticals almost always. Oh, don't look at the other skills I have on Andras. They're probably random skills that I inherited from other personas. So keep in mind for the next ones I show that if I don't mention one of the skills that you can see on the screen, it's probably inherited. Oh, and this guy on Meraki, this one is the one I used in the money farming video. If you don't want to farm money, then you don't need this. In case you want to farm money, then just watch the other video. Makami is useful because he gets a nuclear attack. He's the first persona you can get with a nuclear attack. I don't think you'll find any for a long time, so get him in case you find someone that is weak to nuclear damage. Okay, Ipundatara is a good one to get at the beginning. He has many resistances with only ice weakness. You can get him at level 13 and he learns Rampage at 15, which is a good physical skill at the beginning. It deals 1 to 3 times weak damage to all enemies. He is the highlight of this video. He is basically the best thing you can get early in the game just because of the skill Swift Strike. It deals a lot of damage. You can get Matador at level 19 and he learns the skill at level 20. Just to put it into perspective, Ryuji, which is basically your main physical damage dealer, gets the skill at level 32. That's 12 levels after Matador, which is basically 1 or maybe 2 dungeons later. So yeah, get Matador. Next one is Suzaku. You get him at level 19 and at level 23 he learns Speed Master. It is a very useful skill. It gives you an agility buff at the beginning of the battle. You can combine it with Swift Strike so the attack doesn't miss. And for that, look at the next persona. He doesn't have any special skill, but he's immune to physical and gun damage, making him a good recipient for Swift Strike and Speed Master. Problem is you can't just fuse Matador and Suzaku. First, you have to fuse Suzaku with Jack-o'-lantern, giving you Orobas, and then you fuse Orobas to Matador, giving you Shiki Oji. Also, I don't think at the beginning there are enemies with nuclear damage, so basically he starts with no weaknesses. Next in the list is Phoenix. In the calculator it's called Feng Huang or Feng Huang, which is the Chinese for Phoenix. I don't know if that's an error, so if you're looking for him in the calculator and you can't find Phoenix, just type Feng, F-E-N-G. There is a good persona to have because it gets Diorama, which heals for a moderate amount, but the reason I recommend it is because of Recarm, which is basically revive. Buying revival medicines might be expensive, and if you don't use the money farming method, you won't be able to stock many of them, so Recarm will save your money and your allies. I'm just gonna mention Anzu briefly because of his party-wide buff. You get him at level 25 and evasion for everyone is always good. You can get Principality at level 29, and at level 31 he learns Mediarama. I think it heals for like 150 to each party member, and it's the best healing you can get at the beginning. Morgana's Doro learns the same skill at level 34, which is a bit later. Okay, I'm a bit cheating here because Setanta learns the skill Charge at level 34, but you can already get him at level 28. You will likely still be using it at the end of the game. The last persona I'll mention is Neko Shogun. You get him through an advanced fusion with 3 personas, and at level 31 he learns Invigorate 1. You will probably know how much SP is a bottleneck in the game, so having SP regen is always good. So this was my last recommendation. Above level 30 I think you'll be able to manage by yourself. Also there are a lot of other resources on the best personas towards the end of the game. This video was mostly aimed towards beginners, so I think I'll end here. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, don't forget to like and maybe subscribe to my channel. If you think I missed anything or maybe want to correct me, then just leave a comment below. If you want me to make other Persona 5 videos, just tell me. This was basically a request from one user. With that being said, just have fun with the game.